I joined Toastmasters in 2002, and when I joined Toastmasters, I thought the reason I was joining was because I wanted to improve my communication skills. It wasn't until a couple of years later that I realized that the real value of Toastmasters is what you do when you have reasonable communication skills. The way this manifests itself, if you think about it, is like this. When you join a club, you're a member. You can then become a club officer. If you're a club officer, you then, if you're president or vice president of education, you can be eligible to become an area director. The area director role, like many of you know, involves your first time that you're experiencing clubs outside of your own. When you go to those clubs as an area director, you get to experience different mindsets, different perspectives. You might visit clubs that you would not join had you visited those clubs when you were a guest. If you think about it, you might think that the most scary experience you could have in Toastmasters is when you give your icebreaker speech. But really, the most intense, scariest conversation you can have in Toastmasters is when you're an area director having a conversation with club officers that you're visiting for the very first time about how you want them to do something a little bit different. Or you want their help with your area contest. I have it on a good basis, and I'll refer to my friend George Marshall, who keeps statistics on such things, that nobody has ever died being an area director. The reason this is all important, the reason this is important for you, is the first time you step out as an area director, you'll get a sense of what it's like to really, really lead. I'm going to introduce you to my definition of good leadership. A good leader is someone who makes the right decision at the right time and then persuades people to follow them. Think about it, there are two elements to this. One element involves communication. One element involves understanding what the right thing is to do. When you're in Toastmasters, when you're a leader, you'll be in positions where you're trying new things and getting new experiences. And as you get those new experiences, you're going to find yourself growing and trying new ideas. It is a leadership laboratory. You need to try these things out. Once you start trying these things, you'll grow as a person, you'll have more confidence. When you have more confidence, you'll be able to persuade people because you'll know what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an international director today because when I got a taste of what the leadership experience was, I realized that was why I was in Toastmasters. I wasn't in Toastmasters merely to be a better speaker. I can't do much with that. I wanted to be in a position where I understood what people needed and what I could do to help them succeed. In order to do that, I needed to have these experiences, whether it was as area director, division director, or another position. Eventually, I became a district officer, and then I became a region advisor for 2 years. Every single one of those experiences helped me feel like I was helping other people succeed, and it also grew me as a person. The way it grew me is when I refer back to the definition of leadership that I talked about before, I gained experiences in influencing people, and I understood what it is that I needed to influence them to come and join me in terms of what I wanted them to do, affecting their outcomes. So that's really why Toastmasters is where leaders are made. You might think you're a Toastmaster because you want to be a better speaker, or because there's a cool thing that you can do with your friends every other Thursday night. But unless you're thinking ahead and thinking about leadership opportunities, and they really are opportunities, you're not getting the most return on your investment. Think about this. When you're in Toastmasters, you become a better communicator, you apply those skills, you get more experiences, and then you're suddenly suitable for a better position, perhaps with your current employer or a better employer. You might have more influence at your family dinners about what games to play. You might help out your church in terms of the choices that they make, whether it's technology or music, whatever happens to be, because you've had the experience and you understand what it is they need to hear. That's why I want every one of you to think about your leadership track. Think about being the area director if you've not been the area director. Think about moving on up. Be the division director. Be the district director at some point. And when you're done there, think about whether or not you've had enough and whether or not you want to move forward. Someday, I want you to think about being the international director and perhaps even the president if that's what seems right for you.